We got 2 likes, so somebody's in here. I guess we'll wait until more people show up. It says we have 3 right now, but nobody's typing in the chat, so I'm not too sure if you guys can even hear me either. We got another. Finally, we got somebody in the chat. Yeah, you guys can hear me. That's good. Alright, so we got 2 people in the chat now. What's going on, you guys? It's a bit early to be doing this, at least where I live. It's noon. I'm not sure where you guys are at, so maybe that's why there's not a lot of people in here right now, but hopefully we end up getting some more people later. We got 6 watching right now. That's good. Guys, that trailer, it completely blew me away. I think for MCU Spider-Man films, that, this trailer was my favorite trailer. It's up there with the first Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, and like there's a lot of really emotional attachment to that trailer because that was like peak Spider-Man for me, because I was so excited that he was finally going to be in the MCU. It was coming off the Civil War hype, which I still think Civil War is the best interpretation of MCU Spider-Man. But this, you guys, seeing Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and all the other villains, man, that was crazy. And especially towards the end, too, when, I mean, we all know what Doctor Strange is hinting at. We know that the other Spider-Men are going to be showing up in that scene. That is going to be a crazy scene once they eventually show up. Yeah, Raphael, the "You're not Peter Parker" line, bro, Doc Ock has the best lines for Spider-Man villains in the MCU. And he's not, we haven't even seen the movie yet. He's already got 2 iconic lines. But a lot of people have pointed out too, I'm sure most of you have seen it, so in the Brazilian Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, the ending scene where it has all the villains charging towards Spider-Man, they didn't cut it correctly. So they edited out Tom Holland. No, they didn't edit, obviously they didn't edit out Tom Holland. What am I saying? They edited out Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But you can literally see the lizard getting punched by nothing. And he's also not even jumping towards Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So it's obvious that they edited out the other 2 Spider-Men in that trailer. And if you guys have saw the leaked images, if you guys have seen the leaked images of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, it is literally the same backdrop as the Statue of Liberty fight. So they definitely edited them out of the trailer. Now, it could be tricky editing with Doctor Strange when he says they're all coming through, meaning that those could be different villains. Is that my... That's, the PlayStation doing that. Can you guys hear that? I just noticed that. Like, it's reading the comments for me. That's very strange. Yeah, I agree with that too. Peter Parker wouldn't just jump in logically against all of them. What was I getting at though? Yeah, but all the leaks line up. Like, I'm really happy. I'm glad they didn't show them either, Raphael, because I think they should save Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield for the movie, because that is going to be on the level of Captain America lifting the hammer in Endgame. I mean, imagine if they showed that in the trailer. Can you guys hear the PlayStation reading back the messages? I might have to edit that. Let me see if I can. Okay, so I turned off comments to speech. Hopefully that fixes it. I haven't streamed on the PlayStation in a very long time, and I would have liked to do this through like my computer, but I have no idea how to do that. Hopefully it fixed now because it didn't play back what you just said, Raphael. What's up, Zeke? The thing is too, yeah, it does make sense why they wouldn't show the other Spider-Man, because this is still supposed to be Tom Holland's film. I mean, obviously we all want to see the other Spider-Man in it, and I already have a face reveal videos. I'll do another one though. But the thing is, like, this is supposed to be Tom Holland's film. And imagine if they did show Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the trailer. Nobody would care about Tom Holland's Spider-Man after seeing that. I was thinking of doing a traditional reaction for the trailer, it's just that I didn't have time, so I thought that the next best thing to do would be for me to do this. And I was planning on doing it last night, but I thought it would be easier now considering I'm home alone. So I did go out earlier too, you guys, before streaming. I wanted to find the Funkos for the movie. I haven't found any of them yet, which I think they are out, because on eBay I've seen a few of them pop up. It's just that I went to Target and I didn't see any. Another thing from the trailer too, so in this it doesn't seem like Doc Ock will be a villain. Maybe he'll be a villain at the bridge scene, and then eventually when he ends up realizing that this isn't Peter Parker from my world, he turns into like a good guy or a mentor, which something I pointed out on Twitter was during that scene on the Statue of Liberty, which I'm assuming is the final fight because it lines up with the leaks, you would have 4 villains and 4 total good guys if you include Doc Ock. So I definitely think that towards the end of the film, Doc Ock may sacrifice himself again, considering that even in the trailer, when he's talking to Peter Parker, MJ, and Ned, it seems like he's on their side, and eventually he's like they'll be fighting Ghost too. I think he'll trick them in the end. What do you mean by that, Zaka? Oh my god. I'm planning on getting I mean, I don't really wear Spider-Man shirts like that, but like I'm planning on getting a No Way Home one, and I need to get a poster because on my wall, you guys, I have these 11x7 Raimi trilogy posters. I need a No Way Home one because technically they are Raimi posters now. Yeah, maybe him and Norman could fight. Another thing too is at one point in the trailer, people noticed that Electro might be fighting Doc Ock. And I guess that could line up a little bit with the first trailer too, because it looks like Sandman is protecting Spider-Man. But the thing is too, in the trailer, Doc Ock says, no, not Doc Ock, it's Doctor Strange. He says they're all destined to die fighting Spider-Man or something like that. Sandman doesn't die, and neither does the Lizard. So I'm wondering how they're going to play into that. And I was thinking that maybe Sandman gets pulled after Black Suit Spider-Man, after he defeats him, because he does technically die, and then he comes back to life. Yeah, I could potentially see that, Zako. In the new one, he doesn't seem to protect him, but in the first trailer, some people have pointed out that it looks like he's protecting Peter from Electro, which Electro looks really good. I'm glad they redesigned him. I didn't think his design in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was that bad. It does look a bit strange. I understand why they went with it, though, because they didn't want to do the classic look, because Electro has an awful costume in the comics. But I like what they did in this, and I think it looks like the Web of Shadows Electro to me. I'm curious to see how some of these villains got upgrades though, because Green Goblin has two different looks in the trailer, which when we first see him, people have pointed out that it looks like it's battle damage Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1, but then later on in the trailer it looks like he has new pumpkin bombs, a new glider, and he has goggles, which according to the leaks too, the entire Green Goblin costume has been leaked. He'll have goggles, and then he'll have what appears to be like a purple scarf and like a satchel too. So a bit more traditional to the comics. I'm actually glad they still included the classic Raimi design because I do like that costume. A lot of people don't like it, but like I really don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it's realistic for what Oscorp does in that in the Raimi films. That is true. That is true. It is from the Shattered Dimensions game, which reminds me. So the ending shot kind of seems like Shattered Dimensions to me, or at least I think it was like the midpoint of the trailer. It looks like the Shattered Dimensions final level with Doctor Strange and Peter talking. I hope Toby and Andrew aren't just at the end of the movie. I don't think they will be. If the leaks line up, which a lot of them have, it's been said that I actually think I made a video on this, these specific plot leaks. It said that Toby and Andrew will have their own scenes. So what I'm thinking is that maybe at the end of the trailer when Doctor Strange is like they're all coming through, potentially we could see how they get pulled into the universe and not just them magically appearing through. Oh, that's Wayne Parker. I just realized that profile picture. So they won't just be pulled through. Like we'll get a look into the Raimi universe. Maybe everything's like going well for Peter Parker, and then he gets pulled through, and they all end up in the final fight. I think Norman will end up doing that, Bill. I don't remember the last time I streamed really. So I was asked to do like a traditional reaction to the trailer, but I just didn't have time yesterday, so I thought this would be the best next thing. I should have done this after Venom, to be honest. So the thing too, that I point, now that you mentioned that, Raphael, so the villains that have new costumes in the trailer are Green Goblin and Electro. So I mean, what if they come through and they're wearing their old costumes from the films, and then eventually, like when they adjust to the universe more, that's when they start upgrading each other. Because it does make sense that Norman would make that for Electro, because Norman is supposed to be the main villain of this movie, which makes sense given that it is a Spider-Man or Spider-Verse movie. I was hoping that we would see Venom Bill based on the Venom 2 post-credit scene. I think he might be teased in the post-credit scene again. Now, it would be crazy if when Doctor Strange says they're all coming through, that's when Venom appears, because Venom's an anti-hero in his films, so he could potentially help these Spider-Men. And I definitely think that it's not just going to be... I definitely think it's going to be more than just the three Spider-Men fighting in the final fight. I think Doc Ock will either help them or maybe Venom. Because it would make sense if it would be 3 Spider-Men plus one of these other characters versus 4 villains. Because there's no way Green Goblin isn't in that final fight. We don't see him, but the leaks line up with that. And it's said that Norman Osborn ends up killing somebody during that scene. I don't think it'll be Zendaya. I'm hoping that the first time we do end up seeing Andrew Garfield in the film, though, is when MJ is falling and Tom Holland's Peter Parker tries to save her. The way I want them to reveal Andrew, and this would be the first time we see either Spider-Man in my book. So I'm hoping that she's falling and Tom Holland can't save her. Out of nowhere, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man comes in, he saves her, and we hear the Amazing Spider-Man 2 theme. That would be so crazy. And then after that, we see Tobey Maguire. That is something too. He does have the worker outfit. A lot, someone pointed out that he has the Timbs, so he's a classic New Yorker. I'm still debating which theme I would like to hear for Andrew Garfield in the film. I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 theme is more triumphant, but I like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 theme more. But it would make sense given that he will be wearing the TASM suit 2 suit in the film. So the thing that's annoying me too with doing this on the PlayStation, it was awful to crop this thumbnail, which my boy Hector made this for me on Twitter. So depending on which account he wants me to put in the description of this video, I'll end up doing that. But like it's cropped terribly. You can see the bars around it in the mouse pointer. I think one of the leaks said that we will hear their classic themes too, which really makes me happy. What's going on, Flamer? I'm really curious to see who will die in this film, though, because Tom Holland said that this film is going to be dark, and I think he said something about consequences being in there for Peter Parker. Um, in the trailer, it kind of suggests that it could be Aunt May, because there's that pumpkin bomb scene where it looks like Green Goblin attacks the feast shelter, and I think that would make a lot of sense because it would parallel to Spider-Man 1 when he attacks Aunt May. It's gonna be kind of crazy too when Norman sees Aunt May and she's like 30 years younger than the Raimi version. I agree with that, Bill. I've seen fan edits where they put the Raimi theme over the Marvel Studios logo for the film. I don't think they'll end up doing that because it's still a Tom Holland film after all, but man, it just looks so good. No, it's all right. You don't have to apologize for being busy with school. Another thing too pointed out from the trailer is that I think the nano yeah, so it looks like Peter is going to use the nanotech from the Iron Spider suit in order to kind of suppress Doc Ock's attack, because even in the prison scene it seems like he has it seems like he still has the nanotech around him, and it looks like his claws are shut, although that could just be because Doc Ock is like calm. Yeah, that's another thing that people have pointed out too, Bill. They think Happy is going to die. Which, if that happens, then he's been in the MCU since 2008, I think. That would be crazy. I think he was in Iron Man 1. I haven't seen it in a while. I don't think there is going to be a Sinister Six. I think it'll be the 4 villains: Green Goblin, Lizard, Sandman, and Electro. Doc Ock will be a villain for, like, maybe the first part of the film. And then he starts to help the other Spider-Man, which I'm actually glad that they do, because it does seem like this is going to be the exact same Doc Ock from the Raimi universe based on his dialogue in the film, and like it would make no sense for him to just be a villain throughout the entire film because it ruins his arc in Spider-Man 2. And the thing is, with the final fight taking place at the Statue of Liberty, if Doc Ock ends up dying or he sacrifices himself, he can die the exact same way that he does in Spider-Man 2. Oh my god, I can't imagine the audience reaction. I haven't seen a movie kind Because like here in the US, you can go the night before instead of the actual day that it releases to see a film. I haven't done that in a very long time. Like even when like the movie theaters were open before COVID. I'm definitely seeing this the earliest I can. Like there is no way I'm not going to. So I do think a fourth member will be trying to help these Spider-Man in order to even everything out. So it could be Doctor Strange, considering that he is at the end of considering that he is during the Statue of Liberty fight. But it could be Venom, and it could also be Doc Ock. I've seen a couple screenshots too of the Statue of Liberty fight that people are pointing out. One of the Spider-Man, they say it looks like it's debatable whether it is Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, and it's not like they edited it out. Like it's just Spider-Man swinging through the scaffolding that they had. So I don't know if it is because I feel like with the editing that they did, they would make sure that that isn't one of those Spider-Man. I think people just Spider-Man's moving too fast in the shot in order to tell which one it is. It does look like the other Spider-Man, but the costumes are all based off the same template. I don't know if she will show up, Wayne. So she said that she isn't in the film, but then against Andrew Garfield has said he isn't in the film either. Considering that the leak said there will be scenes of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield by themselves, I definitely think that she's going to be in the film. Like we'll get a look at what the Raimi Spider-Man has been up to before he gets sent over to the MCU. If it is 3 hours, that would be crazy, Bill. Definitely, Flame. I need to go to the UK so I could see this movie as early as possible. I don't know what they did to get the film 2 days early, but congrats to y'all. Brazil gets it a day early too. So I could see it on the 16th. I'd have to go at night. The theater is going to be packed, but like I don't really care. So you think the scene with Doctor Strange saying that they're all coming through is a bit odd? What do you mean by that, Ray? I think that is supposed to be the scene where the two Spider-Men show up. Potentially it could be the other villains because it's theorized that the black and gold suit allows Peter Parker to travel through dimensions. So what if they're not in the like what if the Lizard doesn't end up in the MCU, but like we see him through the portal in the first trailer? So what if he's talking about that, where like Sandman and Electro end up getting transported to the MCU at that time? I want Venom to have a role because I think it would be really cool to include him in the film. I mean, I think that's what the Venom 2 post-credit scene is pointing at. People say it's for Venom 3. I don't think so. I think that they're hinting at him being in No Way Home. I'm more excited to see Tobey because he's my personal favorite Spider-Man, and that the Raimi Spider-Man film was the first time I ever was introduced to Spider-Man. So I'm definitely more excited to see him. I think his return will be more impactful than Andrew Garfield's, considering a lot more people grew up watching the original films over the Amazing Spider-Man. But I'm excited to see both. Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is the one that I relate to most, and I think he deserves to have one more chance at being Spider-Man because he got the short end of the stick when it came to the MCU deal because he wanted to be in the Avengers so bad. I remember there were pictures of him with Avengers comics before the MCU deal, and then the Amazing Spider-Man 2 flops and they rebooted all. So I'm happy for him that he's coming back. I think it is too, Bill. Some people have pointed out on Twitter that Toby might have actually fought these villains before, which if that is the case, then he's fought the Lizard. Um, and in the DS version of Spider-Man 3, he fights Electro. Even though in the Spider-Man 3 game for the Xbox, he mentions that he's fought Electro, and we don't see that in any of the console games before. I'm hoping that Spider-Man's in the Multiverse of Madness. So the rumor with the Multiverse of Madness is that one of the X-Men characters is supposed to show up. But I think given that Sam Raimi is directing Multiverse of Madness, we have to see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And who knows, maybe the No Way Home post-credit scene won't hint at Spider-Man 4 or The Amazing Spider-Man 3, but the Multiverse of Madness will, considering that it's Sam Raimi. I think I would put this trailer up there. Yeah, oh, it wasn't in the DS version. I should know that because I had the DS version. Yeah, you're right. It was in the GameCube version, not GameCube, Game Boy. If there was a GameCube version, I would have never had to buy the DS version because I had 3 copies of Spider-Man 3 growing up. I didn't have a console at the time that could play it when the game released, so I had to get it for the DS. And then I eventually ended up getting a PS2. And I thought it would be like the PS3 version, but man, I was in for disappointment. I still liked it though, even though I was a kid. And then eventually I got the Xbox 360, and the first game I got was Spider-Man 3. I agree with that, Ray. I put Shattered Dimensions as, I would say, my second favorite multiverse Spider-Man story. The first one belongs to the 90s animated series. That is my favorite multiverse story so far. No Way Home will probably take that spot, but like when it comes to like Spider-Verse, the Spider-Verse comic in Shattered Dimensions, the 90s show takes the spot for me. I hope, speaking of the 90s show, since we're talking about it, I hope for Spider-Verse 2, Sony takes influence from what they did with No Way Home, where it had the other movie Spider-Man, and we get other animated Spider-Man in Spider-Verse 2. We need Christopher Daniel Barnes back. I would, if they bring Christopher Daniel Barnes back, which, like, he's voiced Spider-Man in other projects since the 90s show, but that will be up there with Tobey Maguire returning for me. I have a hard time deciding whether I like the 90s show Spider-Man or the Raimi Spider-Man more. I think they're both the best interpretation of the character, though. We definitely need Josh Keaton back. Alright, thanks for tuning in. So another rumor that I've seen, you guys, is that another trailer will be dropping on the 29th. I don't think they should do another one because the movie is like a month away exactly. Um, we have we've seen most of everything in this trailer. We know Daredevil's going to be in the film. Thank you, John Campea. And we know the other Spider-Men are going to be in the film. Thank you, Sony, for your poor editing and all the other leaks that have came out for that. I don't think they should show another trailer. I think they should do TV spots, obviously, and stuff like that, because the marketing for this film has been terrible. But I don't want another full trailer. I think it'll give away way too much. I don't think we need another one. I don't think we needed this one, really. Like, I'm happy we got it, but if they just wanted to do one trailer and then TV spots after that, I would have been perfectly fine with it. I mean, half of the movie's been leaked already, which I don't think I've seen a movie like this leaked as much before it comes out, as much as No Way Home. But I I don't think we need a third trailer. Sony is known for that. Knowing Sony, apparently there was supposed to be multiple different versions of this trailer that was supposed to have Charlie Cox and the other Spider-Man in it. Um, I'm glad they went with this one though. I don't want them to show the other Spider-Man. I mean, same with Charlie Cox too. Like we all know these characters are in the film, but like I want to see them for the first time, like in HD, um, in the movie. I think Daredevil will play a small role, Venom. So from the looks of it, it seems like they'll deal with like the more grounded Spider-Man stuff, dealing with the events of Far From Home, like in the first part of the film. And then that's when we'll get introduced to Matt Murdock, and I don't think he'll be Daredevil in the film. I think he's just gonna be I think he's just gonna be Matt Murdock. So I think up until maybe first 10 or 15 minutes of the film. So I think up until like Peter goes to Doctor Strange for the spell, then that's we won't see him after that. I think we could, Bill. I mean, he's been hinted at in Homecoming. I hope they don't rush in the Miles Morales though. I'd like Peter to be Spider-Man for a few more years before he ends up teaming up with Miles Morales. I don't think they're gonna come in just for the final battle, Ray. It's been said, the leaks, that they have scenes on their own, and they're supposed to be in the second half of the film. Um, and I don't think they'll permanently leave after that. I think this movie is going to open the door for Spider-Man 4 and The Amazing Spider-Man 3, because if they have separate universes in Spider-Verse, Craven, Morbius, Venom, there's no reason why we can't get two different Spider-Man, or not two different, but three different live-action Spider-Man universes on the screen. See you later, Flame. Thanks for tuning in. And another thing I spotted in the trailer too, you guys, so in the trailer, Peter Parker's like, the only time I felt normal since being Spider-Man is when the week I told you or something, when he's talking to MJ. That makes me think that she is gonna end up dying in the film, and that will be Peter's consequence for being Spider-Man. See you later, Venom. Thanks for tuning in. Tom Holland did say that this movie was going to be dark. I think it was him that said it, so... I mean, the second trailer definitely gives off dark vibes. They did end up putting some jokes in there, but I mean, that's expected considering it's the MCU. I think this movie is going to break box office records for Spider-Man films. I'm hoping it does for Endgame because I've been saying that it's going to. Um, I think once Sony sees how much money this film is going to make, they're going to greenlight Spider-Man 4 and The Amazing Spider-Man 3 because people are going to want to see the original Spider-Man back in. Andrew Garfield deserves to have his trilogy finished, and Sam Raimi deserves to get to make the film that he's never been able to make. I don't know if they should do more Spider-Man films in the Raimi trilogy if they end up doing that. I think Spider-Man 4 should just be the send-off to the character, but we'll have to see about that. It's amazing though that Sony can give us two good trailers, but they can't give us a good poster. The first poster's okay. I think as far as MCU Spider-Man film posters go, the first one is decent. But the second one, man, I don't know what they were doing with that. I'm not sure about that, Bill. I saw something today that Tom Holland said. I think he wants to be Spider-Man until he's 30 or something like that. Someone pointed out that what if Tom Holland's Spider-Man dies in this film? I don't see that happening. They say it might be similar to the Ultimate Comics, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think they'll kill off Tom Holland's Spider-Man in this. Maybe based on the events of No Way Home, he stops being Spider-Man for a while. Kind of like what Andrew Garfield did at the end of at the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But he won't come back until the next Spider-Man film. I think he's signed on for like 3 more films, so I'm not too sure. I don't think the first poster's that bad. It's just the second one, man. And people have pointed out that Doctor Strange and Peter Parker are doing like the exact same pose as Mysterio from the Far From Home poster, so it's like they reused assets. Which seems like a Sony thing, considering that they're using old logos in Morbius and Venom. So something that Bill has mentioned to me, you guys, open for discussion. Do you think we'll actually see Thomas Hayden Church and Risa Fons in the film, or do you think Sandman and the Lizard will just be like monsters in the film, and there won't be any dialogue from them? I've seen a lot of good No Way Home posters that were made by fans. There was one I saw yesterday where it had all 3 Peter Parkers, but it had the Spider-Man lenses on them. It looked really good. Personally, I'm hoping that we see the actors return for the roles for Sandman and Lizard, but I'm not too sure. And it really all depends, because we've only seen Sandman as a giant monster in the trailers, and for the Lizard, like, we've just seen him through a portal and then towards the final fight. That would be crazy, Bill. That is a good thing to think about. If Strange does the spell and Peter Parker forgets he's Spider-Man. I mean, hey, it would make sense if Sony and Marvel have another falling out before MCU Spider-Man 4 releases. That would be their way of not having the like retcon Spider-Man out of the MCU. He just forgets he's Spider-Man. So Peter Parker just goes on having a normal life in the MCU. I'm hoping that in this film too, so it's been said that No Way Home is going to have 2 post-credit scenes. One of them is going to be controversial. I'm hoping that both of them just tease Spider-Man 4 and The Amazing Spider-Man 3. I understand that it is a Tom Holland film, but like, it would be really cool to see what the future of this franchise is going to hold. I definitely think they're making Spider-Man 4 after this. I mean, it's been rumored that it's all but greenlit, but I mean, who knows? There's a new rumor every day for this film, but a lot of them have turned out to be right. I'm pretty sure the video I made on the plot leaks, which I don't remember all of them, but it lines up so well with what we saw in the trailer. That is interesting to think about, Bill. And what if it's like I think there's certain parts of the Lizard's character where like he can't turn back into a human. So that would be interesting. There was a leak where the Lizard had a horn. I'm so glad he doesn't in the trailer. So in the prison scene with Doc Ock in the trailer, there is a leaked image of all the characters. The Lizard, apparently he has pants like in the comics, and like Sandman looks a bit different. Like he looks like shrunken down, just made of sand, kind of like when he first becomes Sandman in Spider-Man 3. I wonder if the Lizard just has pants because that was like pre-editing stuff. That was just like stand-in stuff that they did. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks too, Ray. So the amount of spoilers that have come out for this film is crazy. Like, I don't even feel bad that I've been spoiled for it so far. And I'm sure most of you watching it have just read everything there is and seen every leak according to this film. It really sucks, though, because of the impact that this film is going to have. I mean, imagine if all of this came out before Endgame came out, because I think this film is going to be on the level of Endgame. I know there were some leaks for Endgame, but, like, it wasn't like this. Like, we basically know the entire film before it's out. That is a good point. I need to pick up that magazine article. I should go to Barnes & Noble after this. There is one Time magazine at my job. It's got Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man on it, and it's very strange that they would use that Spider-Man, considering what's been happening in Spider-Man films. I'm trying to think of some more things to discuss. I want to only go about an hour for this, but like we still got 20 minutes left. Oh, okay, so this is the thing I've seen on Twitter that's kind of sparked like some controversy. What do you guys think about them roasting Doc Ock's name? Personally, I have no problem with it. The Spider-Man is like 16 or 17. Obviously, he's going to act childish. Spider-Man does this to his villains in the comics and other media. And even in Spider-Man 2, they do the same thing. I don't see a problem with it. People are like, oh, they made Doc Ock a joke in this. No, they didn't. They did the same thing in Spider-Man 2. I like that too, though. Imagine next month, though, if we end up getting the No Way Home suits in Spider-Man PS4. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'll be likely that we see them in the Avengers project before we see them in Spider-Man. But who knows? I mean, the way they roast him in Spider-Man 2 is like a guy named Otto Octavius winds up with 8 arms, and then I mean, they even roast calling him Doc Ock before that. They want to call him Science Squid, so I don't see it as an issue that they were roasting him. I mean, Spider-Man does that to his villains all the time. Yeah, they'll probably end up saving them for Spider-Man 2. It would just be a dream though if it would be like when Homecoming, not Homecoming, but when Far From Home came out, and we thought they were done adding suits for the film, and then we get the Far From Home suits. Hoffman needs to be in the film. Another thing people have pointed out too is that the Raimi or Jameson in this film is wearing nearly the same outfit as he does at the final fight of Spider-Man 3. I don't think it's the Raimi Jameson, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if they would put them in Miles Morales though, because it would be kind of strange considering that they're Peter Parker costumes. I mean, I wouldn't care if they did. I would just like to use the suit. But I don't know. I haven't played Spider-Man PS4 in a while. Are all the suits filled up, like the suit slots? Are they all even? My boy Protocol 36 is in the building. Congratulations, Wayne, you're a moderator now. Make sure you guys go watch Protocol 36's series that he's been doing. So he's doing leading into No Way Home. He's looking back on every Spider-Man film and he's going through which comics inspired each film, and it's a really good series. I'm doing good today. I'm still on a high last night from the trailer of it. Like, I felt so happy when that trailer dropped. I guess they won't be putting them in You're a mod. They could, so I think it's five spots for each row. They could do the No Way Home suits. I think there's three of them, right? Yeah, there's the new upgraded suit, there's the integrated suit and the black and gold one. And then they could add the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and the new Tobey Maguire suit, which is apparently supposed to be a bit brighter than the Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2 version. I don't know, Bill. They could add it. I heard Captain America is supposed to be in Vanguard. I don't know how I feel about Mysterio orchestrating all the events of No Way Home because we saw how this played out in WandaVision, and people were really upset with the Quicksilver thing. I hope they don't pull that again, and I really hope they don't, considering that Doctor Strange's film is supposed to deal with the multiverse. But I mean, hey, Mysterio was the first one to hint at the multiverse in the MCU, so who knows? I don't think he's dead. I would like to see him in this film, but it's just that I don't want all of this to be Mysterio. I agree with that, Bill. This will be John Watts' best Spider-Man film in my book. I hope Mysterio's not behind this all, man. The thing is, I think if Mysterio was behind it all, then he would just make Peter Parker's life a living hell. Like, he wouldn't orchestrate all of this multiverse stuff. Like, I mean, imagine if Peter Parker was just like, the easiest way for Mysterio to orchestrate it all would be for Peter Parker to be found guilty and he sits in prison. That would be the easiest thing. I think I think Homecoming's a good Spider-Man film. Far From Home, the more I think about it, the more I dislike Far From Home. I'm not sure if it's my least favorite Spider-Man film. It's either that or TASM 2, but it's definitely at the bottom for me, which I think when Far From Home came out, I said it was the best Spider-Man film. But I remember saying that when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out when I left the theater. I think it's just in the sense that it's the new one, so you don't see all the flaws with it yet. I mean, yeah, of course Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 is better than the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie game. I've seen videos where they do like realistic HD mods for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game. Doesn't look that bad, really. Like, I actually like the way it looks. Speaking of games, you guys, I need to get rolling on the Spider-Man 1 playthrough for you guys. I might do it tomorrow. Now, I originally wanted to just do it through my computer, but my laptop can't run Spider-Man the movie game because the graphics are too good for it. The graphics aren't as low quality as they are in Spider-Man 2. So I gotta get my PlayStation set up again, and hopefully it works. Overall, I'm excited for this movie. I am beyond excited, actually. If it wasn't dealing with the multiverse and stuff like that, I don't think I would be as excited for it. I would like a grounded Spider-Man film. Um, People were saying that their ideas for No Way Home was going to be like Craven and another villain hunting down Spider-Man. I think that would have been nice, but considering that this is having the multiverse, like, I am beyond excited for it. Yeah, it was a dark game. I'm smart. There were a lot of dark scenes in that game. I think I'm gonna end this at 1, you guys, so about 10 more minutes. The stream's dying down a bit too, but thank you to everybody that showed up. Like, I haven't streamed in forever, and it's been really nice to sit here and talk to all you guys. I might, if I can get Spider-Man 1 working, I might end up doing the playthrough as a live stream. I was still a bit new doing everything with Spider-Man 2, considering that I've never recorded through my laptop before, and I was also playing on the computer, so I had to get everything set up correctly. I think some of the episodes there were some errors, but I'm glad we were able to finish that series. Thank you, Bill. I'm glad we could do something different too with the mods. I'm glad that the mods were able to work on my computer. The snow mod was good. I wish I could have used like the remastered graphics, but like I'm glad we were able to use different suits. And we kind of went through the Spider-Verse. I mean, we used the TASM suit, we used the MCU suit too, and then we used the advanced suit. It does seem like you're playing a completely different new game when you use the mods. I need to get a gaming computer so I can end up running those HD mods, because the game will look great. I do too, Smart. I have a video planned for my top 10, I think it's 10 or 5, Wolverine suits that I want to see in the Wolverine game. I don't know as much about X-Men as I do Spider-Man, but like I could get a suit video going. I put a lot of interesting suits in there from what I remember, and I just need to get the ball rolling on that video. But I'm definitely going to end up covering the Wolverine game more, considering that it's made by Insomniac. I need to play Avengers before Spider-Man releases. I think he releases in 2 weeks. And then I need to play the Guardians of the Galaxy game, because I've heard good things about that. Two weeks, isn't it? Let me read your comment, Sam. It was hidden because of what you said. You think the purple shit in the sky when Doctor Strange is saying he can't stop it could possibly be after the battle and all the multiverse shit attracted Kang and that set up for him? That is a good point. I haven't finished Loki. I've only watched like the first episode, so I need to get on that. I know what happens in it. I just haven't finished it. It could tie into Loki. Ooh, my controller fell. No! Guys, okay. Back to this. There we go. What was I saying? It would be nice if they tied it into Loki, and that's how it could tie into Doctor Strange 2 as well. I uninstalled Splitgate, Bill. I'm never playing that game again. I need to finish Loki. I fell out of it, man. I'm disappointed in myself. The thing is, too, I haven't even seen the finale for What If. I watched every episode but the finale. Like, I just haven't felt like sitting down and watching a series lately. The only series like I've been watching lately is the Chucky show, and I used to be really scared of that when I was younger, but like now that I'm older and I realize like all that stuff's not real, like it still kind of creeps me out a bit. But like that's a decent show. Like I actually like watching that show if you guys have watched it. I think that it could be the Spider-Man Royce. I mean, I think that's what they're hinting at in the trailer, but again, it could be like tricky editing too. Like, what if that line isn't even in the actual film? I think it could be more villains potentially. Yeah, that is true, Sam. I was saying earlier in the stream that what if we don't see like Electro and what if we don't see like Electro and like the Lizard and Sandman in the MCU, but Peter Parker travels to their universes and ends up fighting them, or at least a different universe, because Electro and Sandman will be fighting together in that black and gold suit scene. And apparently that suit is supposed to be so Peter can travel through dimensions. So it would be interesting to see if when Doctor Strange is saying like I can't hold them, they're all coming through. Um, it would be interesting if that's when all of the villains just come into the MCU, or maybe it'll seem like Peter Parker has like fixed everything by the time that Statue of Liberty fight happens, and then that's when Doctor Strange is like they're all going to break out. It does look a bit like that. I'm smart. Bill, you need to watch WandaVision because that is one of the best MCU shows in my book. I don't like it that much when it starts getting to when it starts acting like a traditional like MCU thing, like a comic book show, but like when they're doing like all the sitcom episodes, like it is really good. I'm hoping they don't pull a WandaVision though with the multiverse stuff. I think a lot of people will be mad if this just turns out to be Mysterio's illusions. I'm wondering if the Vulture will end up being in the film. I think the final fight. Ooh, no! I dropped my controller again. I need to stop moving. Okay, I think my mic just screwed up. Sorry, you guys. I'm hoping that. What was I trying to say now? I think this final fight will be the best final fight in Spider-Man films, just based on the level of it. See, that's what I'm saying, Wayne. A lot of people won't like if this ends up being Mysterio's illusions, then everybody's just gonna be upset about that, and people will be saying the MCU doesn't like to take risk and stuff like that. Yeah, they changed it for the most part. I think some of them reused the Spider-Man PS4 ones. I agree. I like the way Octavius looks in this. Guys, I'm gonna end the stream because I'm getting really hungry. And I've been talking for an hour. I haven't ate today. I've only had coffee. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuned in. We've done this for about an hour, and I haven't streamed in a long time. So, if you guys want to see more streams, I can definitely do them because this is a lot easier than just sitting down and making a video and stuff. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, and as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, follow my social medias, hit that like button. I will see you guys again.